This is Pokrovsk, September 2025. Russian motorcycle infantry, light, fast, and expendable, charging across open fields toward Ukrainian trench lines. What you're watching isn't a training exercise. It's a desperate shift in Russian battlefield doctrine. And it's failing. Ukraine's drone operators, armed with FPVs, thermal optics, and real-time targeting, intercept these squads with brutal efficiency. The result? Dozens of motorcycles destroyed mid-ride, riders thrown, objectives never reached. What we're seeing here isn't improvisation. It's a doctrinal shift. Russia is reacting to catastrophic losses in its armored divisions. Tanks and armored personnel carriers have become drone magnets, easily tracked, targeted, and destroyed by Ukraine's FPV and loitering munitions. In response, Russian forces are deploying motorcycle infantry at scale. These units are fast, cheap, and expendable. Most of the bikes are Chinese civilian models, Lifan, Zhongshan, Bashan, costing between $900 and $1,500 each. Some squads use Russian-made electric prototypes for stealth, but those are rare. Based on open-source footage and battlefield reports, we estimate 500 to 1,000 motorcycle squads in theater. With 6 to 8 bikes per squad, that's a fleet of 3,000 to 8,000 motorcycles now active across multiple sectors. Ukraine's drone teams aren't just reacting, they're evolving. FPV operators now use extended-range transmitters, thermal optics, and AI-assisted targeting to intercept motorcycle squads in real time. These drones are fast, precise, and devastating. In Pokrovsk, drone footage shows motorcycles destroyed mid-ride, often with secondary explosions from carried munitions. Riders are thrown violently. Some never reach the trench line. Others are picked off before they dismount. The cost to Russia is staggering. Thousands of motorcycles lost, hundreds of riders killed or wounded, and no meaningful territorial gains. What was meant to be a cheap workaround to armored losses has become another meat grinder, just faster and more visible. This pattern isn't isolated to Pokrovsk. Back in July 2025, Russian motorcycle infantry attempted a similar assault in the Lyman direction. The goal, rapid infiltration using cheap bikes and minimal armor. The result, total failure. Ukraine's Mara drone battalion intercepted the squad before it reached the front line. FPV drones disabled the lead bike, then dropped munitions on the rest. The entire unit was neutralized in minutes. Burned-out frames and scattered gear marked the end of another failed experiment. These aren't isolated incidents. They're part of a broader collapse in Russian assault doctrine. What began as a workaround to armored losses has become a predictable, vulnerable tactic, one Ukraine's drone teams are now optimized to defeat. Russia's shift to motorcycle infantry isn't innovation, it's desperation. After losing thousands of armored vehicles to drones, loitering munitions, and precision artillery, Moscow is leaning into mobility over protection, but speed alone doesn't equal survivability. These motorcycle squads are fast, yes, but they're exposed. No armor, no overhead cover, and in a drone-saturated battle space, that's a death sentence. Ukrainian FPV teams now treat motorcycles like moving targets in a live-fire exercise. The kill footage is relentless. Operators describe the Russian riders as bait, used to trigger drone strikes, reveal trench positions, and test Ukrainian response times. It's a meat grinder in motion, and it's costing Russia dearly. Ukrainian drone operators aren't just reacting, they're hunting. FPV teams now operate in layered cells, spotters, pilots, and recovery units working in sync. Each drone is preloaded with high-explosive payloads, tuned for speed and precision. Operators use terrain to their advantage, tree lines, berms, and trench shadows to mask launch points. Once a Russian motorcycle squad is spotted, drones are airborne in seconds. The targeting is surgical. One drone hits the lead bike, another clips the rear. The rest scatter, often into kill zones already mapped by artillery. These teams are equipped with range extenders, thermal scopes, and real-time video feeds. Some use AI-assisted flight paths to predict rider movement. It's not just defense, it's dominance. And it's turning Russia's mobility gamble into a liability. Terrain plays a critical role in these failed assaults. Russian motorcycle squads often avoid paved roads, choosing open fields to reduce predictability. But in Ukraine, open terrain is a kill zone. FPV drones thrive in flat, unobstructed environments. There's nowhere to hide. No cover, no escape. Even when Russian riders attempt flanking maneuvers through tree lines or irrigation ditches, Ukrainian drone teams are already watching. Pre-mapped zones, drone patrols, and layered defenses make infiltration nearly impossible. The saturation is total. In some sectors, Ukrainian brigades launch hundreds of FPVs per day. Each drone costs less than a motorcycle and delivers far more impact. Russia's mobility experiment isn't just failing, it's feeding Ukraine's kill database, one bike at a time. Russia's motorcycle infantry experiment reveals something darker than tactical failure. It exposes how Moscow treats its own soldiers, not as assets, but as expendables. These riders are sent into open terrain with minimal protection, low odds of survival, and no expectation of success. They're not breaking through. They're absorbing fire. Motorcycle platoons are used to trigger Ukrainian drone strikes, expose trench positions, and test reaction times. It's a meat grinder on wheels. And the cost is staggering. Thousands of bikes lost, hundreds of riders killed, with no strategic gain. Meanwhile, Ukraine's drone teams continue to adapt, intercept, and dominate. FPVs are cheaper than motorcycles, faster than riders, and smarter than the tactics they're facing. In this war, mobility without survivability is suicide, and Russia's light cavalry doctrine is collapsing under its own weight.